We have Sergey Kozlov here. Hello, Sergey.
Hi.
Yeah, Sergey is PhD in economics and has 20 years of experience in the finance industry, and he can be considered a true DeFi expert. So, first things first, the first question that I would like to ask is, Sergey, what defines DeFi?
I think that there are two, let's say, definitions of DeFi, decentralized finance. First is narrow, and the second is broad. So the narrow one is actually what caused the recent hype on the market when we saw the projects for a few weeks capitalized to $1 billion. And this is just about some, let's say, numbered amount of particular projects on Ethereum blockchain. But there is also a broad definition of DeFi, and this DeFi, I think, actually is what will happen next. I guess in a few years' time we will see the situation when, let's say, the classical understanding of money, of market, of what we thought is finance will lose its, let's say, traction, and the more and more people will come to this new DeFi, decentralized system of finance. So, to be honest, I think that the fiat money already lost its competitive advantage, or actually lost the battle for the customer to the DeFi, to new decentralized finance in this broad definition. And the matter is just that 99.9% people do not understand that it happened.
Can I consider Bitcoin as one of the first examples of DeFi?
Initially, people thought that actually this will be the next money.
Yes.
But my understanding of Bitcoin is as a store of value. This is one of the money's function, but this is not the money in terms that we exchange with each other. So I buy something and pay with Bitcoin. So no, the Bitcoin becoming, and actually it is now a store of value. So if I want to preserve value for the future, I put money in gold, and the digital gold is Bitcoin. So to be clear for the broad market, we can say that this is digital gold.
Yeah, so it's not DeFi.
It's one of the cornerstones of DeFi. So without Bitcoin, we didn't have the market.
It was the trigger, right?
It's actually the first step, the very first step in this direction.
Okay, can I consider maybe COVID-19 as a trigger of DeFi in this year specifically?
Exactly. So without the COVID pandemic, I think we wouldn't have so much adoption of DeFi, because as you can see what happened, all organizations became decentralized. So we speak that it's a self-isolation, that it's a distant work, but actually it's decentralization of the whole world. So more and more people working decentralized. You work from home, actually it's not decentralized offices, more and more people decentralized. And if we decentralized, we need decentralized finance, we need decentralized way of exchanging value with each other. It could be the classical tools, but due to some reasons it's not so, let's say, user-friendly, easy to pay, let's say, someone working in another country.
Yes, for sure, that's not easy.
And there is a solution.
Okay, and so for example, today and before as well, if I want to exchange, for example, dollar with some guy who has euro, right, we will both go to some exchange or bank, and we will do this transaction in their system, right, on their platform. They will be the third party that will conduct the transaction between us. So DeFi technology is something that allows us to do this exchange without this third party. Am I right with this?
Well, actually, the function of third party is executed by the smart contract.
Yes.
And no one can actually change the way the smart contract works if it's not programmed. You are right. Before that, we had some third party, which usually was a bank or some payment system, but now we can do it together via a specially written smart contract. And we do not need any third party, and it's much more easier. It's in terms of costs, it's less costs, and it's faster.
Okay, but what would you say to people who would say that, oh, still in Ethereum or Bitcoin you need to pay a lot of fees to do the transaction.
But again, we have already a solution. 1st of December, Ethereum 2.0 started, so I hope that fees will go down. The second point, yes, you are right. It's for the reason of the recent hype in DeFi, it became more and more. But still, I think that's the future. That's just the first. Maybe Bitcoin first, Ethereum is the second with the stable coins, and will be the third step in terms of making price of transaction less for the people.
You know, my personal thoughts on DeFi, I might be wrong about some things, but my personal thoughts are that it's like electric automobiles. Like you can invent the automobile, but it wouldn't work properly in the world where there are no stations with which you can charge the automobile. So my personal feelings about DeFi, I might be mistaken, is that we have the automobile technology that drives without petrol, but we still do not have the needed infrastructure for this. How do you think? Is this right or
yes,
no?
you are right, but there is another, let's say, side of the coin. You say the infrastructure and I say the adoption. So we need more adoption because today I don't think lots of people are ready to pay with the MetaMask Chrome
For sure.
application. It's quite complex. And it's also a matter of storing the right approach to storing the keys, private keys, etc., etc. So there's a lot of work for the companies to make it really easy to pay. But it's on the road, and this hackathon actually is one of the steps to make it more easy for people to use this new technology.
Because yes, for sure. I had a questions like, do I need DeFi to, for example, increase the balance of my mobile money, right? Or do I need DeFi to pay for coffee? I definitely do not need it, right? So this is the question about adoption, and I don't know where is the start where this adoption, starts to, enroll.
It has already started. I read news today that there are already 1 million people who are in DeFi, and this narrow, let's say, understanding of this notion. But more and more people coming to this because they do not depend on some third-party organization. You do not depend on. It's not possible to block, to stall unless you're on your own, let's say, disclose your keys.
The private key, right?
The private keys. So this is as we started our dialogue, actually the first step, and I think that already fiat money has lost the competition to this new decentralized money.
Can I just make a conclusion that DeFi is the technology that puts the control over digital money into the pockets of the people who own this money, and not into some centralized server or organization?
And this is the concept of DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. And if you have this the governance option in any platform, so you can vote with your share of, let's say, staking in the project for how this project should be developed. If you need additional inflation or not, etc., etc. On the other hand, we already started with the COVID pandemic, and the other, let's say, problem, or maybe the outcome of this event, is that a lot of governments issued lots of money on the market, and it's not controlled inflation, and we don't know how it will influence on the whole financial system in the future. If we have additional, I don't know, a few hundred billions of US dollars, euros of money on the market, what happened with this money? After the pandemic will be fought, after we will come out of this situation, but again, we will be different, and we will live in a different world. And this world will be more decentralized, this world will be more people working from home, this world will be with the clear, let's say, flow of people into this new notion of money, taking their own money in their own hands.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you. No questions.